Welcome to Beyond the Build, your blueprint to outdoor living. Each episode highlights what every homeowner and contractor should understand before taking on an outdoor project. Brought to you by the team at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. Let's get started.
Yes, welcome to Beyond the Build. I'm Darby. I'm joined yet again by our founder and visionary, Nick Lippitt. We've been going through the process of the consultations in your home. You've found the contractors. We've kind of helped you find the contractors, right? We've done that part.
Yep.
How do you find them? And then what to expect when they get to your house, things to look for, red flags. I guess the opposite of that would be green flags, the good things, the bad things to look for while they're in your house. Different contractors for different jobs. So there might be different contractors that fit your project better than others. So we've kind of talked through all that. So there is a series of these before now. If you're just joining us for this one, and this is your first one, I would suggest going back to number one and then getting to this point and then continuing on.
Yeah.
This is like seeing the third Star Wars movie. Like, what are all these people doing with lightsabers? You don't know.
Starting at Star Wars 3.
Right. Exactly. So we are assuming you've listened to those first 4 episodes, and we are now going to talk about now what? So you've had what, 3-4 contractors probably in your house, and now they're all trying to get you to buy design.
Yeah. And I think that this is becoming more and more and more popular in our industry. And I think for lots of reasons, like, you have contractors trying to sell you designs, but then we have like Yard Zen trying to sell you designs. Right. And then we have, what's that? Plant Magic. And I see them all the time, which is funny because I'm never researching buying an outdoor living space, but like there are design specific and design independent companies
right
now that have joined this industry.
And they don't build at all. They just design.
They don't build at all.
Right.
And we should actually talk about the Yard Zens of the world and those guys. And I think it's important for the clients to know what's happening behind the scenes.
That is important.
Referring contractors.
Right.
And we're a Yard Zen contractor, and we love the business they bring us, but I think it's important for the client to understand what that looks like. So yeah, the big thing is you get this, your very first consultation comes in the door. You don't know what to expect, and they're pushing you to buy a design.
Right.
And some people will do it, and some people will be like, well, I got 3 other guys coming. And so now you've gone through your 2 to 4 consultations. Some of you, unfortunately, will have gone through 10 consultations. And
don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do 10.
You're just wasting your time.
And other people's, frankly.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. And, you don't know what to do, right? You're like, well, why do I have to pay for a design? We'll often hear, I want to see a price first.
Right.
And, there's a lot of power behind a design. And so let me tell you, at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living, we do sell designs, but we also provide things to clients for free and what that looks like. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But, what I would tell you as a homeowner purchasing any construction space, outdoor living, kitchen, bathroom, the number one most beneficial piece to a design, people are going to think, oh, it's because I can't visualize it.
Right.
That's probably not even it. It's so that as a contractor, I know what to bid. And if I'm bidding from a set of professional designs, your likeliness, I don't know if that's a word, to change orders gets reduced significantly.
Right.
Because I was given a design, I was given the expectation, most likely it has colors, it has products, it has sizing, it has quantities, and I'm bidding exactly that. And so if you've given me a design to bid from, or I've given you a design and I've provided you a bid,
right,
the bid should be authentic to the design. And a really good designer will call out material type, vendor, style, color, quantity. And so it's really easy to bid. But when we don't have that, we're bidding from basically what we feel is best fit for your home, and you may or may not like it.
Right. And then we start over.
Or
we don't, or you don't call us
change
back.
orders,
Right.
or change orders
right.
become more and more and more and more and more.
And so, change orders, if you don't know, are just, during the process of a job, there are things that are added on, things that, maybe the contractor didn't catch it, or maybe as they're working, you decide, hey, I want to add extra patio, or I want to add a fire pit, or whatever it is.
So I would tell you there's 2 different kinds of change orders. There's change orders that are driven by the client because they want to add additional scope to the work after the project has started.
Correct.
Right. We're working on a project right now in Ken Carl. I think it was like 260. There's $130,000 worth of change orders.
Right.
It is not driven because we didn't provide accurate numbers at the beginning.
No.
As we were building the project, they said, what about that? What about this? What about this? What about this? What about that? This would be cool. This would be cool. Like, those are driven by the homeowner.
Correct.
Then there are change orders that are driven by design, I guess we could say.
Yeah.
And so if there's no design and we put in a patio and we have to add this or change this or subtract that or move this or elevation, here's a big one, right?
Huge.
If there's no design work and I come out and bid you a patio that's 400 square feet flat on the ground versus 400 square feet at 1.5 feet off the ground, and a design should call out that elevation. And if there's no design, I'm just going to bid it flat.
Right.
And then I'm going to go to build the job and I'm going to say, hey, I need to have a conversation. The job isn't exactly what we thought it was. We excavated the ground and all of a sudden here's this 18-inch wall that has to be added to your project.
That's a big one.
Not driven by the homeowner, not driven by the contractor because they're not intelligent in the process, but driven because the work that was bid was not bid based on a drawing.
It's bid based on what someone saw when they were standing in the backyard, and you can't always see
Seeing slope is tough.
those things with a naked eye. We use tools that we scan them.
We scan them.
So at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living, we scan areas, and other contractors use tools that are that work. So I'm not saying that other people don't, but we scan them. So I can tell you that if we're standing in your house and I'm standing in the back of your yard, I can tell you exactly that it's a 4-foot drop or it's a 3-foot drop. So that goes to the design. So we then take that information, which turns into a design, and we know how to bid it.
Yeah. So a couple of suggestions. If you are working on a very specific budget number, 100% you should buy design.
Yeah.
Because your chances of additions after the design go down significantly. And there's a lot of homeowners are like, I don't need a design. And then I protect myself by saying this. Read the small font.
Yeah.
I promise you, every single contract that you sign will say, if it's not included in the budget, it's not included in your project. Right and simple. And so you might think that the number is the number, but by contract, you're not protected by the number.
Right. So the design protects you from that standpoint. It also protects you just from the standpoint of, knowing what you're paying for. Knowing, someone can tell you, there's going to be a patio here. It's going to be from here to here. But that might not prepare you for what you're actually going to get. And so then it is built. And then you're like, wait a minute. I thought it was going to be this. I thought it was going to be this. Well, if there was a design, you would have known exactly what it was. You would have known it was exactly the shape. You would have known where it was going to be in conjunction to an existing door or whatever that is. So it helps. For me, it would make me just feel more comfortable knowing, oh man, I know what's coming at least. At least I know what I'm paying for.
Yeah. And I think designs are probably more valuable in bigger scope, but
sure.
Real life-like example. 3 days ago, I was in Denver. I was on a project with one of our partners. We were looking at a swimming pool that we're building. And he's like, hold on, I got to take this call. And I can hear him from across the yard. Like, this is day one. They're starting excavation. And he's like, what do you mean there's no starting point? Blah, 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 blah. Ask the landscaper, ask this, ask that. And he comes over and he says, this is why we really, really enjoy working for Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. And I said, what's wrong? And he said, look at this. And he shows me like this crayon drawing in 2D. And he said, you see this pool in the swimming or in the spa? I said, yeah. He said, they just told us what the starting height point was. The back of the pool is 4.5 feet out of the ground.
That's something to know ahead of time. That's
and I
big.
said, just put a wall around it. And he said, the landscaper didn't count for a wall. And my engineer didn't account to build the pool 4.5 feet out of the ground, which requires it to be built differently.
Right.
And he said, I'm so sick and tired of working with these companies that are unqualified and don't know how to design work because literally all of my stuff has been mobilized. My crews are there, my excavator's there. And on day one, we're at a dead stop. Which
is not great for the contractor. It's also not great for the homeowner because now your project is basically on pause.
Yeah.
Because now things have to be reworked. And then someone's going to come back to you and go, hey, listen, we didn't account for this wall. So now it's going to cost you another $26,000.
Yeah. So I think obviously designs help price.
Right.
And so that's where I'm talking about this design ability, $26,000 change order. The pool guy's throwing his hands up in the air. The landscaper's throwing his hands up in the air.
Right.
The homeowner's pissed because basically requires more money.
But you have a hole in the back of your yard.
Yeah.
Your yard's torn apart now. So now what are you going to do?
And the other thing is, so the benefits of design, one is price and change orders, but two is experience.
Yeah.
If that project had a design, the experience would have been seamless. And on day one, you wouldn't have been dealing with all of these challenges. And we run into challenges.
Of course.
Construction is challenges.
Even with designs, for sure.
Like that's how it works.
Yeah.
But how can we limit the risk of additional change orders, or how can we increase the value of the experience for the client?
Absolutely.
And it really starts with a design.
It does. It is Beyond the Build, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. I'm Darby, joined by Nick Lippitt, the owner, founder, visionary of the company. We're talking here about designs. Should you get them? Do you need them? Why they can be valuable to you? And obviously, if you're having someone roll sod in your backyard, you don't need a design.
Yeah, I mean, or it's basic. So I would, so there's a bunch of different levels of designs.
Right. That's right.
They can cost anywhere from $500 to $10,000. There's 100% of difference in those drawings.
For sure.
And there's a couple of firms in Denver that, I mean, their design work starts at 10 and goes to 40. And
just for the design, right?
Yeah. And it is next level.
It really is.
I'm actually going to call them out. The boys in Denver, Elevate by Design. These dudes are legit, probably the best designers in Denver. But you're going to pay for it.
Right.
And then they partner with companies similar to ours to get the spaces built for you, and then they manage them, and that's a cool experience.
Yeah.
Right. And then, there's $1,000 designs that, might come from a yard zen, and they're not as well thought out.
No.
Right. They might not have architectural experience behind them. So design work is very similar to everything else. You do get what you pay for, and designs come in different layers. A $500 design is going to come in one layer.
Yes.
A $3,000 design might come in 4 layers. A $30,000 design is going to come in 10 layers.
Yes.
And you might say, Nick, what do you mean by layers? Like layer 1, hardscapes, layer 2, plant life, layer 3, irrigation, layer 4, lighting.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're looking at more expensive designs, it's because there's lots and lots and lots of layers behind them, but that protects you more as a homeowner because you know exactly what you're getting and you know exactly what it's going to cost. So, what I would tell you, a lot of people say, Nick, I don't know who to pick.
Right.
And I definitely wouldn't pick it by price. I think I would pick who I would like my design originally done by the contractor you trust the most. That if everybody was giving you one for free after the initial consultation, who do you kind of lean towards who you think's going to build it?
That's a cool way to look at it.
0 restrictions in budget.
Yeah.
After the initial consultation, that's my guy.
Well, that's an important piece because if you're on a larger scale project, you're going to be spending some time with these people. They're going to be at your house. You're going to be working with them and their designers and their people for, potentially months.
Yeah.
So that is when you say not just about price, right? You can find someone that's going to cost the least or even cost the most, but still might not make the experience good for you. And I think you're really right on about the design making the overall experience better for you, which is kind of the overall idea of this entire podcast, is to make the overall experience better for people.
Yep.
And so, that's not really something that I'd even thought of as a reason to get a design is, the experience for you. If you're looking at your backyard and you're envisioning, we had somebody in Parker, we did a beautiful pool for him, and he'd been envisioning that yard for ages. His family would joke about how he was standing on his deck looking out, imagining what was going to be there.
Yeah.
So if you've spent all that time kind of imagining what it's going to be, to then just kind of go, I think they're going to get it right, without any kind of design work or any kind of, to kind of show you that it's another way to show that they understand your vision. If you have no vision and you need help, that's one thing. But if you have a vision like he did,
yep,
and you kind of see what you want and you're seeing what you want, and we worked through different revisions with him to get where he needed it to be. So that's a huge thing too, is, there are revisions. So you can, if the initial design doesn't quite connect with what you've been dreaming about for your space, we can revise it. So you can do all of that work on paper and on a computer screen rather than with backhoes and crews out here changing things on the fly.
For sure.
So that's huge too.
So I think that, in 2D designs, you're probably looking for $500 to maybe $1,500. You might get into some color designs for, $1,000 to $2,500. And then you're going to get into 3D designs, which, realistically, the good ones are going to start at, 2,000 and go from there.
Yeah.
But one thing I would tell you is if you're thinking about working with a contractor that doesn't have the ability to do design, potentially a red flag.
Yes.
Or hire a designer and then bring him in to build it or them in to build it. Because what I'll tell you right now, I have a whole coaching side of this as well, right? So we own a business, we build. This podcast coaches clients. And then I have a whole nother podcast that coaches contractors. I have contractors anywhere from $800,000 to $10 million.
Right.
And I'll tell you that all of them have the ability to do design.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that they have a full-time designer in-house. So in our industry, there's a lot of different avenues behind this. So if someone doesn't have the ability to offer you design, there might be a little concern there. Or you could always move to a company like Yardzen, and these guys will design it for you, and then take their designs and then go get it bid out.
Bid out by multiple companies.
Yeah. The other thing I would tell you is when you pay for a design, you own it. And so this is a big thing at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. You pay for a design, I'm going to build it exactly how you want it. I'm going to provide you designs, blueprints, schematics, material choices. It's yours.
Right.
And then I'm going to encourage you to go get bids from multiple contractors.
Right.
And so if you're actually listening to this first, Darby, maybe in the title we should say design. Listen to this prior to consultation. Because
maybe.
If the first guy who walks in your house you feel really comfortable with, I would tell you to stop, let him build the design.
Right.
Then bring in your other consultations because you're not going to waste your time and you're going to literally walk in the door. They're going to walk in the door and you're going to say, I want this.
Price it.
And so
let's go.
The last biggest benefit to design work is equal budgets from contractors.
Right. Apples to apples, straight up.
If you don't have a really good design, then you're going to get 3 bids and they're going to be drastically different. And then you're going to have to figure out how to depict them and figure out why there's a $50,000 swing or a $10,000 swing, or maybe not even so much of a dollar amount. Why is there a 30% swing?
Right.
Like if there's a $50,000 swing or a $10,000 swing, like a $50,000 swing in $1 million project, who cares?
Right.
A $10,000 swing in a $20,000 project is 50%.
Yeah,
right?
that's
so
something.
Maybe it's a percentage more than a dollar amount. But when you have designs in your hands that you hand out, and like if I design them for you and the logos are on them, hand them out to, I don't care.
Right.
Hand them out to whoever needs them to provide you with pricing. But again, if you are handing out a set of drawings that have this kind of call out, then the bids you're getting are apples to apples to apples.
They're using the same material because people will say, well, they're doing a paver patio for this price. Okay, well, what pavers though?
Yeah.
Or they're building a deck with this price. Okay, what decking are they using? So there's so many different.
Yeah.
They're installing a swimming pool. What vendor is that swimming pool from? So there's so many ways that things can change, or just kind of the ways that people build things, or things that are and aren't included, which we'll get to on a later one. But so that is a huge thing to make sure it is really protecting you, and we do encourage it. We do the design for, yes, please do. We're not afraid of that. We want, you always tell us that like my job is to educate people when I'm talking to them. It's not a used car lot. When I'm walking into somebody's house, it really is. Let's educate you, see what the best fit is for you. And we think we are 9 times out of 10 the best fit for you. Sometimes maybe we won't be, and we'll tell you that too. But the design work is huge, because your point about, if someone doesn't have someone that can do designs, that means they haven't, because like you said, they don't have to be in-house. But if they haven't taken the time to connect with a designer, to have that kind of relationship with somebody so that they can provide that service, that definitely could be a red flag.
Well, and it's not hard.
No, it's not hard.
It's really not. We have in-house designers. We have partner designers.
Yep.
Like we do so many designs that we can't keep up. So I would tell you that, having an in-house designer might be more challenging. But having a designer that has the ability to design on the level of my in-house designers, for any contractor to find, is very easy to do.
Right.
And so if they haven't taken the effort to do that, there's a concern.
And there really is then going to be a concern. You have to think about, how are they going to build this thing?
Sure.
How are they going to build it? It's before we had GPS, like you get in the car and like, if you don't have a map, how are you going to get there? And so I think I mean, I can't read a map now, but so I think that's a huge thing though. How are they going to build this thing? How are they going to bake this cake with no recipe at all? When you just show them what the cake looks like. Here's a cake, bake this for me. Like, okay.
I mean, that's a really good example.
Yeah.
You know,
what are the ingredients and how do they fit together
in the kitchen?
Right. Right.
You know, like, I mean, that's a perfect example. Right?
Yeah.
Male, female, doesn't matter. Here's a picture of chicken fajitas.
Yeah.
Make them.
Do it.
Right.
Like, yeah.
To be honest, this space is very much the same. Like if you go back and think about how things have been done for a really, really long time, there's instruction and direction behind all of it.
Yeah.
And the design is the instruction behind your blueprint.
Yeah.
So
it really is. So that's another reason to look at a design.
Yeah.
And in what case does someone say someone's trying to sell them a design as soon as they walk in their door in what situation should they maybe design isn't needed for them?
I think that, so I would tell you that a design is always necessary before you start construction.
Right.
Right. So you might not need a design or pay for a design and you can go through a budget and feel comfortable with it, but you should 100% have a design in front of you that you've signed before you build anything.
That's huge that you've signed, that the contractor signed.
Yep. So a design is always needed.
Yeah.
But maybe in the instance of when a design is not needed in the initial phase would be, a brand new home, new backyard, cover the dirt so the HOA leaves me alone.
Yeah.
3 feet of rock around the perimeter, sod, irrigation, roll top edging, in and out, $12,000, $15,000. Take your plot plan, take a pencil, sketch it on there, make some notes, hand it to your contractor.
And at least that's something.
Yeah, but I would say, I don't know, projects under 20,000 definitely don't need initial designs. I can't even say 50 though, because if you're thinking about building a patio with a kitchen, it could be 50, and that's probably somewhat important for design work. I would tell you that at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living, we do have design opportunities that are at no cost.
Correct.
To give you a vision of what we're doing. It actually is more because we want to make sure our estimates are as accurate as possible. They're enough to make you excited and think, but they're not enough for you to hand them to somebody else.
Right.
And so we do all of those, included in all of our consultations. But most of the clients that we're working with understand that they need a design.
Right.
And that it's going to come at a cost. And, a little bit, the design takes time, so the last two things that I really want to talk about is like timing.
Okay.
And then payment.
Right.
Right. So when you commit to a design, you need to understand it's going to take a couple of weeks.
Right.
Right. It's not.
You're not the only
tomorrow.
one. Yeah.
It's not going to happen in 3 to 5 days. They take time.
Yep.
And so, especially the good ones. And what I would encourage you to do is read the comments below in here. Darby has added a link. He's added multiple links. And the first link is just our basic free design.
Right.
And then we added a link to, a 2D design. We added a link to a color design. And then we've added a link to 3D designs. And then off to the right, we put example pricing of what these exact designs cost. So you could go straight down and click on that design and you could say $3,500.
That's what I can expect from that. Right.
That thing is sweet.
Yeah.
And so we've given you examples below to what they look like. And the other thing I would tell you is if you're not in Colorado and you can't find a designer, drop a comment in this podcast and we will connect you with a designer that will design your space.
We will. And they'll do a good job for you.
They'll do really
And they're
good
great
job.
to work with. Yep.
So that's kind of the timing. And then based on cost, I would say $3,500 or less, you're going to pay for it all up front.
Yep.
And if you're like, oh man, I just don't feel comfortable with that, blah, 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 put it on a credit card.
Yeah.
Put it on a credit card. Credit card company will protect you, if the contractor never comes back. But hopefully by this time you've listened to multiple of these and you've already weeded out the contractors that aren't going to come back, that are trying to charge you for a design. Is there a design contract? Maybe, maybe not. Is there an example of designs with their work? Maybe, maybe not. These are some things that are going to help you become more comfortable.
Right.
After you start getting beyond 3,500, and maybe it's beyond 5,000, these designs are going to come at payment schedules, so let's see, biggest design I've sold is probably 20,000, 25,000. And it was broken up to $5,000 increments. And one of them was conceptual, right? So $5,000 at time of commitment,
right?
$5,000 at conceptual, $5,000 at 2D, $5,000 at 3D, $5,000 at completion.
Those are milestone numbers. So it's not just 2 weeks, give me another check, 3 weeks, give me another check. So those are, you're delivering upon the thing that you said you were going to deliver before, know. So
you would see something,
right?
You would see conceptual,
right?
And then you'd make a payment,
right?
And then, but these are different. Like these are like $25,000 designs, $1 million projects, $500,000 projects. Usually in the process of also architecturally designing the house. So that's a little bit different process.
That is.
And, but what I would tell you is, $3,500 to $5,000, it's probably going to be a lump payment. $5,000, maybe you do half and half. Anything beyond that, you're going to have milestones.
Right. Yeah. So that's something so you kind of know what to expect with timelines of these designs, what kind of projects they work for, what kind of things to expect for the different kind of cost levels, and kind of knowing that there are black and white 2Ds, color 2Ds, 3Ds, plant maps. We do sometimes specific plant maps for people that just need a plant map for their project. I mean, so there are different levels to those as well. So it is Beyond the Build, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. I'm Darby here with Nick Lippitt, and I think do we have? I kind of think that kind of runs people through the design process.
I think that's it. As always, questions, concerns, drop a comment, call the office. Darby and I are here to help. But again, the biggest reason why we're taking the time to do this, like homeowners are going to listen to this all over the country.
Right.
The homeowners that are listening to this, even in Colorado, but across the country, like there's no benefit to Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living for doing this.
No.
We are taking our time to help elevate the experience for the client and make sure that you're working with the right contractor regardless of where you're at. So if you've enjoyed this one, there's many more to come. You can look through and see the titles. They're very specific. There's basically 12 or so that are the initial journey. And then after that, they're very, very specific to product type.
Right.
And so also if you are looking for a podcast built around something you're trying to do that you don't see it, drop a comment and we'll record it in a week and get it to you.
We would love to do it. We love to do these. So yeah, the goal here is to help you and to help kind of elevate the entire industry. So it's a better experience for everybody. It is Beyond the Build, your blueprint to outdoor living, brought to you by Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living. Thanks for being here, everybody. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Darby.
Beyond the Build from the team at Rocky Mountain Outdoor Living.